Welcome back! My name is Baller Scuba. This is Video Games Over Time. We are still in 1981, and we are still in Eastern Front 1941. Having 2 years on that is throwing me off. When we last left off, we made it to September 28th, 1941. We have about 6 months left in the campaign. We are doing well so far, but things are going to turn against us pretty soon here. Historically speaking, I believe that we're doing about as good as Germany did. Still an awkward thing playing as Germany. I haven't really talked about that too much, but it's awkward. Let's head up here and to the right with you, and then you. That's good for now. We are going to try to conquer more of Russia if we can. It's not necessarily going to be easy, but we'll do what we can. I guess try to go like that. You tackle that. You go up. So we'll have that person kind of bunched in, and then that person can kind of push through. We'll have you go to the right. Have my Panzer Corps just kind of push everything. Did I get everything here? Okay, I think I did. We do have a good score, but you know, the question is never what kind of score can you get while you're attacking. In this game, it's about how you defend. What can you do during the defense? That's what's going to get you through. We'll do that. We'll have you push this way. We're still trying to take this guy out. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that in a reasonable amount of time. Doesn't look like I got any more reinforcements. There's going to be a time when I stop getting reinforcements, so don't get used to those. I don't remember how far I was when I pushed. I think that was the last one. Okay, let's have you go that way. We'll have you, that's fine. That's pretty much all you're going to be able to do. You can stop and push this way. You're pushing, let's have you push further. And we will have you go up from there, because that's where I think they're going to be at the end. Yeah, I kind of have to predict how much they're going to retreat. And that's always kind of been an issue for me, at least in this game, is that I am not good at predicting how much they're going to retreat. That's good. Sure. We're trying to get a couple surrounds here and there, but it's not always the easiest. We'll have you go that way. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, my southern forces are not the best, but okay, so we have the orders ready. Let's hit the button and kind of hope for the best here. This is still kind of the main area for me. All right, I saw at least one red square go away. Looks like we got a few to go away there. How are we doing? We're still pushing. And all right, you notice the change in color of everything. We're up to 216 points, so 10 more points my way. Yeah, still have the Finnish forces up here that can't do anything. The change in color means a change in season. We are now in mud season now that we're in October. Bad things start happening around now. We have to be much more conservative about how we attack and things like that. How much are your forces? 90. All right, well, let's just have you go there and wait. We're going to have to start playing a little bit more defensively now that the seasons have changed. I don't think you guys fought each other at all, so, you know, if you could tackle that, that would be great. I can't really get a pincer attack on him because the swamp is, you know, on all sides for him. Yeah, my Romanin troops might not do so well, and my Hungarian troops might not do so well. The Italians might not do all that great either here in what I assume is Ukraine. This looks like, this looks like Crimea to me, so I think this is Kiev. Could be down here. I don't think so, though. Okay, so then we will push you. We'll have you go this way. You push. That is good. We'll cancel you and have you go kind of up and around. Yeah, my southern forces are my weak forces right now. As you can see, they don't have the combat strength that I would hope for. But I still think that I can push a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe I have to start being defensive now. I'm hoping that's not the case, but it is indeed possible. Have you go around like that. Up from there. No. You deal with that. And no. Right down. There we go. Stay out of the rivers. I'm still trying to be a little bit offensive here. But as you can see, I'm starting to run out of supply. And supply at this point is starting to be a little bit more random. That's one of the downfalls of the mud season. We'll have you kind of back off to there. Actually, we'll have you back off too. Supplies start going down. Russia starts getting more reinforcements, and I don't. So bad things are probably going to happen. Still trying to get surrounds, but not sure how well this is going to work for me. We'll just have you hang out in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit the button and kind of hope for the best now. Yeah, bad things are going to start happening. I'm going to start losing forces. I'm going to start going backwards quite a bit. All right, 209. I have lost points now, and this is what's going to happen moving forward. I'm hoping to maintain positive, but it's entirely possible that I have not been careful enough throughout this. So we will just kind of try to hold here. Do a little bit more conquering. Whatever we were doing, I think I'm just going to have to stick with it. We'll double check to see if there's anything that's particularly bad. Like that is particularly bad. So we'll see if we can't deal with that. You're a little bit too far out, so let's have you back off. You guys can keep pushing, I guess. It's not going to be super helpful, but we'll see what we can do. Yeah, this, like, immediately the tide has turned against me. And that was to be expected, but at the same time, I was hoping that it wouldn't. But it did. We'll have you go there. You have... Yeah, you know what? You can just go one over. That's too far. That's too far. You just stay there. And we'll try to hold the line as best as we can. You know, we will attack, but we're not going to push anywhere. We'll defend and hope that this kind of works out for me. How are we doing? Not really seeing too much there. Yep, still losing points. Just a little bit at a time, but I mean, this is pretty much what's going to happen the rest of the game. We're going to lose points here and there. So we're just kind of double checking things now. Seeing how we can deal with any of this. I'm going to need you to back off because you've got like nothing left. Actually, have you help out with that fight, I guess. Yeah, I might have pushed too far. Might have pushed too hard. But ultimately, you know, this is a hard game, and a lot of people will tell you that. Me recording probably made me push a little bit faster than I should have. But, you know, ultimately, we can still get a good score. I just don't like my chances right now. Notice how slowly my troops are moving week to week these days. Let's have you help out with that. Used to be able to get like 5 or 6 moves in. Now they're not really doing much for me. Yeah, okay. And we're not seeing a lot of fighting going on anymore. Down to 194. Let's just hit the button again. And I am losing ground here. They are starting to win, and instantly into winter, starting in November. Winter is bad. Winter is very, very bad. We're going to have to fight you. Yeah, it's just a matter of holding and hoping. Yeah, we're going to have to tactically retreat, and it kind of just happens naturally when you start losing. But yeah, we're probably going to get wiped here. Honestly, that's what happens most of the time that you play until you start finding out a lot of the minor details about the game that I don't have a good grasp on. This is what I'm told, but like I said, I couldn't find too many guides about the game. So this is based on loose information that I was able to find somewhere. But my understanding is that, you know, bad things happen. Hey, I did get reinforcements. Just defend that city. That'll be our stronghold. That'll be it, though. We'll have you go there. You go here. And you go here. And we'll just try to hold that line. Have you surround that. But, I mean, the Russian forces are somehow, like, in a much better position than we are. Let's go ahead and tactically retreat here. Notice that even though they should be kind of full muster here, they are not. Full battle strength and all that. It should be fine, but we are very clearly not at full strength because it is winter and they are not getting food. They're just not getting it. Have you go there. We need to take this out. Okay. Let's go again. As I tactically retreat, we are going to be losing points. Alright, I at least won that, but then I lost one of my troops in the process. Yeah, the rivers are starting to freeze over. The swamp's starting to freeze over. Probably should have backed off like 2 or 3 weeks before the mud season started. But you know, I just don't know what else to do other than just kind of tactically move back. And just hope that I can hold off the forces for another couple months. I'll have you step back as well. You kind of go there. Can I fight? Yeah, that's a risky fight. But between the two of you, I think I can pull that off. 136, 138. You need to back off. You already are, but you're not doing it fast enough because you're cold. Oh, this guy's just lost. We're not going to see that guy again. All right, kind of go there and help. Back off there, back off there. And then, I think that's good. We'll have you just stand your ground. So we're going to be more on the defensive now and, you know, hope that I can hold. I don't know. If I get 50 points, I'll be happy. Right now, it's not looking likely. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything else for me to do here other than try to hold the line. The Russians are going to get reinforcements. Their supply is fine. It's mine that's the problem. So I've also been told that if I just hit the button really fast, the computer doesn't have time to think about what to do. But, you know, how much thought process does it get here? They just have to push west. Yeah, my units will tactically retreat as necessary. You can head up there. But not being able to get food to my troops is going to be my downfall. And that's pretty much it. And yeah, they have much stronger forces now than they ever have before. The game is geared around you losing. Which is an odd strategy for the game. You're just trying to prevent loss at, you know, just trying to minimize loss at some level. And, you know, there's only so much you can do to do that. Do I have reinforcements? No. No, nobody is coming to help me anymore. Oh, well, somebody came here. I don't even know what that's supposed to say. Panzer Grinder Corps? Well, have you try to pincer this guy off that we've been chasing this entire, I don't know, 4 months straight? Like, it's been a long time. Okay, you're holding there. So I did get, like, one set of reinforcements, but that's not gonna cut it for me. Between the two of you, it's close. Okay. How are my Finnish forces doing? They're doing all right. All right, let's just hit the button again. And hope. Down to 106. Like I said, I'm hoping for 50. I'm not experienced with this game, but we've made it to January. It goes a lot faster when you get to winter because there's just not a lot that you can do. Other than watch your forces get destroyed. There's a lot of odd choices in the game, and that's definitely one of them. Down to 83. Wow, we had a bad week. Yeah, the Russian forces are just kind of pushing against us here. I guess I can try to fight this with my forces. 127. That's a good little number there. We'll try to defeat you, I guess. Try to pick off the small ones that I can actually win. Technically, I can win this if this one doesn't join in. And we're trying to hold cities. You do get bonuses for defending cities. So for me to lose a city is probably a big deal. 46, 136, 74. I'm not going to win that. Yeah, they took that main city. I think that might be Moscow, which is why I lost so many points. I don't know if that's worth me kind of going in and attacking. This one might, though. Maybe we can win that. Okay, go. Go. Lose more points. I'm probably not going to get 50. Let's be real about this. I'm not. I did win this one, though. I did win this, so That's 8. We'll try to help out over there. Go. Move. Down to 53 already. Yeah, you can see they just got a ton of forces on their side. They are getting reinforcements during winter in a way that we can't. I mean, they have more forces now than we ever did. And that is bad news for us. So we're going to get under 50 here. I don't think that it ever really turns around for us. But I will do what I can. Yeah, lots of odd choices in this game, I would say. I know it's historically accurate, but it's kind of odd that this is the historical accuracy that we're going for. I don't know. All right, one more up. Did I have you go back down? Yeah, that's not what I meant. There we go. And then we'll hold that line. You would assume that I could get some attacks in on this guy here, but you'd be wrong. 87 versus 102. 84 minus 153. Yeah, we're losing ground. They came at me with a ton of stuff. And it's only a matter of time before I'm just losing. I lost a lot of forces here. You can back off. You can back off. And let's lose some more. Am I going to get wiped is the question. And it's a slow burn, right? I could get wiped towards the end of March, which is looking like the case here. Yeah, down to 39. They just came with so many more forces than I expected, to be honest. I knew that they were going to get reinforcements, but I didn't know they were going to get this many. So let's just kind of push forward kind of to the end of this and see what the damage is. Because I'm expecting to get 0 points now. Not a lot of fighting's happening. Did I got some points back? And then I lost it again. All right, looks like it's starting to thaw out. But yeah, not a lot is happening per round here. Yeah, all right, well, now people want to fight. And I think this is my last round. March 29th, is that it? Game over, I get 35 points. Not necessarily the best score by any means, but it is one that I'm not necessarily happy with, but one I will accept. This is a difficult game. It involves a lot of minutia that I wasn't able to find. We'll put it that way. It involves a lot of practice to try to figure out a lot of the small details about the game, and without me being able to either play the game several times all the way through to try to get a sense of some of the smaller details, or finding somebody else that could give me some of those details, I knew that I wasn't going to get a good score. I was hoping for 50. I made it to 35. It's almost there. What was that, like 85% of the way there? Either way. No, not 85. That's 70% of the way there. So that is the game. That is Eastern Front. It goes quickly at the end because there's not a lot to do. You just kind of hold and hope. And it didn't work out for me this time. So that is the game. With the game now played, let's talk about how the game holds up today. Playing the game today, it's hard not to talk about some of the odd choices that the game has made. Just in general, as a whole, playing as Nazi Germany, fighting the Soviet Union during World War II is awkward. It's uncomfortable. I don't really want to be involved in this fight. I don't really care for either side. I'm not rooting for either side. I know historically what happens. It's the same thing that always happens when somebody tries to conquer Russia and winter comes, they lose. That's just how it works. That is difficult for me to overlook in this game. I tried not to talk about it too much while I was playing it, but the fact that I am playing as the Nazis in a single player game, and I'm supposed to basically do better than the Nazis historically did, is awkward. It's an awkward choice, especially when you start looking at the graphics, start looking at the gameplay, and you can kind of see like World War II is not important to the core gameplay of the game. This could easily have been, I don't know, Alexander the Great or Julius Caesar or World War I or any war at any point, because we're basically just talking about squares moving along a screen and some are stronger versus others and you have supply and stuff like that. It didn't particularly have to be World War II. Clearly, the creator, Chris Crawford, is a huge fan of World War II, looking at his body of work. He is a huge fan, but even if we made it World War II, why didn't we do D-Day or the conquest of Italy or the race to Berlin at the end of the war between the Allied forces and the Soviet forces? There are a lot of different options to choose that would have been less uncomfortable for us to play. But this was the one that was chosen. So it's weird. Another weird part of it is that you are just kind of going as far as you can, holding and hoping for the best. That's basically what happens. That's how the game is played, which means that the second half of the game is not very fun. I kind of stretched it as far as I could in the first video to try to make it to the mud season, knowing that, the second half is gonna end up just being defense and we could blast through it. But mud season came a little bit later than I thought it was going to. But those are awkward choices for this game. And I think that's what holds it back by today's standards. I don't think that these were issues at the time. At the time, the Soviet Union was seen as America's big bad enemy. We don't look at it that way anymore. And looking at back at the past of World War II kind of has a different light because of that. Especially when you're on the Nazi side of all the things. But let's talk about the actual core of the game itself and kind of leave that kind of historical stuff behind now. The historical awkwardness, I guess I should say, behind. Let's talk about the graphics. The graphics are not particularly good. Like I said, we're just basically talking about squares, but that scrolling is important, and I do think it is a huge benefit to the game to have that smooth scrolling that you can just kind of go through the screen on. That's a big deal. It does make for the sense of a huge map bigger than what the screen can actually hold, which is nice. And it doesn't feel awkward to just kind of hit right and then have the whole screen kind of shift one like map square to the right. The smooth scrolling does help with that. The sound is also particularly good. It sounds like gunfire. There's not a lot going on there, but that does sound right. The map itself is pretty good. Once you figure out that the V's are the swamp, then, you pretty much got a sense of the terrain. It works well as a map. The gameplay itself, I would say, appears basic at first. It's not basic. There are some in-depth strategies, but ultimately we are just talking about battle forces, like battle power, so to speak, versus battle power, and you roll the dice and you hope. So the gameplay is good for the time, but I don't think it's aged particularly well. I think that people that want more historical accuracy in the game are going to want much more control over the forces. They're going to want to have differences make more impact. They're going to want less randomness, that kind of thing. So the gameplay, although great at the time, I don't think has aged particularly well. in terms of replayability, I don't want to play it again, to be honest. I played it. I am happy that I played it, but it's not a game that I would go back to. I don't really care about getting a better score. There are certain things I could have done. Apparently there's a built-in cheat that I could have hit the option button and gotten like 50% stronger. That's supposed to be helpful early on more than it is later. I didn't use that at all because I didn't feel like that was right for me to just hit a superpower button. It's not how the game was meant to be played according to the manual, at least what I can find. It's supposed to be a beginner's aid, so to speak. So that's basically my modern take on the game. It was good in 1981. I can see why it is as popular as it turned out to be, and why the critics loved it, as we're going to talk about pretty shortly here. But overall, I would say that the game does not age well, and it's probably not a game that a lot of people are going to go back to. There are better examples of this genre later on. Much better examples, much more in-depth if that's what you're looking for, much more historically accurate if that's what you're looking for, and much more compelling gameplay if that's what you're looking for. So ultimately, this is a game best left in 1981, and that is my modern take on the game. When it was released, Eastern Front 1941 became immediately successful. It would sell over 60,000 copies, becoming APX's best seller. It was seen as so successful that the game itself could have sold the computers they were played on. The critics were also impressed with the game. It was seen as one of the best war games on the market. It was also one of the first that seemed to impress traditional tabletop wargamers. Because of the game's success, Atari asked Crawford to make a ROM cartridge of Eastern Front to make it an official Atari product. Crawford then worked on improving the game slightly, including removing bugs and adding difficulty levels. This version would be released in 1982. Looking ahead, we will of course continue to follow the history of Atari as we continue. With another game selling their computers, the company would remain at the forefront of the video game industry. As for the game's creator, Chris Crawford, he would continue to create video games, primarily war games, and we will hear from him again. That will do it for the story of Eastern Front 1941. My name is Baller Scuba. This has been Video Games Over Time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in our next video where we'll take the fight back to space.